Yeah, so since you've got so many traditional finance people in your circle of normal life, how many of them call you a crazy loon bird for getting into crypto, and how many of them are actually, dipping their toes in the water a little bit? And and then to on top of that is, how do you think over the next few years, maybe not even decade, 5 to 10 years though, how do you think they'll adjust?
That's very interesting because I'm gonna go and give everybody the reasoning why I have so much conviction. It has actually nothing to do with traditional finance. It has nothing to do with, oh, it's crypto. It has nothing to do with that. It actually has to do with understanding the money supply. And then the person who can best explain that is Michael Saylor. You understand his philosophy, why he's in Bitcoin. You're going to understand why crypto as a whole is is the golden ticket as a whole. You go even deeper, then you have PulseX, PulseChain, and Hex, right? That's just the golden ticket at the top of the golden ticket. But when you understand that when money is being devalued at a rate that is equivalent or very close to the appreciation of the index funds, the S&P 500, and that light bulb goes off in your head and you realize that the appreciation of assets and the appreciation of real estate has actually nothing to do with your intelligence. It has nothing to do with your positioning. It has nothing to do with how smart you are. It has nothing to do with any of that. It actually just has to do with the fact that the Fed is devaluing your currency. You're nothing special. They're doing all the work for you. When you come to that realization and you realize that you're being scammed because they're keeping you in the rat race, because they have you locked into the 401k for 30, 40 years. There's not a coincidence by that. They have you in there trapped for 40 years as a slave. So then at 40 years, you are able to withdraw the same money that was valued when it started. All you did was keep up with inflation.
Mhm.
And if you look at it, what is the only thing that's going to outperform the standard market? That's real estate and stocks. It's going to be your own business, private equity, venture capital. Your own business, you are taking a big gamble that your intelligence is significantly better than what Richard Hart created, if that's what you're comparing. Richard Hart products and your own intelligence. And I can tell you, I'm a fairly smart man and I failed in business plenty of times. So if you're going to outbeat me and other people who are very, very, very smart, well, I wish you the best of luck. Do I think you're going to outperform over a 10-year period better than what Richard Hart created? No, you're not going to. You may outperform short term, but you're not going to outperform long term. And you may not have as much volatility, but over a long period of time, your ROI in your business will not perform better than the investments that you had left if you had left it in the PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex community over a 10-year period. Right. So that's one of the main reasons for me as to I have no issue with just waiting, sitting back, because I know at the end of the day, the money printing is going to devalue that currency. And any asset that is priced against that currency has no choice but to go up. It's the same thing with real estate. It's the same thing with stocks. Everything in this life that is priced against fiat goes up. That's why the price of eggs goes up. That's why the value of real estate goes up. It's not because you're smarter. It's not what it is. You're not that smart. You're not that special. And the moment people realize that their investments isn't because they're really smart, it's because the devalue of the currency is what causing that appreciation. You can take a moment and step back and say, okay, what can I invest that's going to outperform the standard market and real estate? So the only thing that was up until before crypto was created was venture capital and private equity. But as we've heard Richard Hart talk about it, that's no longer the case. Crypto changed all of that. Bitcoin changed all of that. So now you have the ability to get the same purpose of what Bitcoin was created 12 years later with the new product with Richard Hart's assets, PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. So that's my conviction as to why I'm all in, right? Because I know from experience, from knowledge, from wisdom, from trial and error, that I know that there's nothing else out there that's going to outbeat this and that's going to be here for the test of time. Then everybody in my circle when I came to that realization, they still don't realize that. They still believe like, oh no, investing is the way to go. It's the safe way. They still don't understand that their appreciation in their investments comes from the devalue of the currency. So I slowly just started, separating myself from them. And I started educating people in my life who wanted to listen to what I had to teach them. And some of those people was my brothers. Both of my brothers, they didn't know anything about crypto. They didn't know anything about business. They didn't know anything about that. They saw me for 10 years try over and over again, some wins, many losses. And then when I told them, look, man, I don't need you to be smart. I just need you to take action. And they just took action. Both of them bought the bottom of PulseX. Now they're seeing 3x on their investment.
Nice.
And so at the end of the day, this game that we're in, this investment that we're in, people who treat it like a casino, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
But the people who are not necessarily the smartest, but the action takers are the ones that win. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You just have to be the guy who believes, or at least believe the guy who actually is putting the time to actually understand it, right?
Yep.
That's the case in my family. It's like my brothers understood that I put in the time to understand what I hold, how this ties not just in crypto but to macro, how this ties to the money supply, how this ties to everything outside of as a whole as investments. And I wish I could give everybody that same wisdom and that light bulb moment that I had. And I try to convict that through my passion and through my enthusiasm when I talk about it. And some people grasp onto it and some people don't. And the people who don't, I just leave behind. And, at the end of the day, in 10 years, they're going to be the ones, after PulseX is at $1 and they're buying,
right?
I'm dumping on you, right?
They'll be the ones calling you lucky, right?
Yeah. I talked about that with Westcott a few weeks ago. It's like, I don't want anybody to call me lucky.
Yep.
Because you cannot call me lucky when I held through 70-80% drops, when I held through everybody calling it a scam, when I held through when the SEC launched and price tanked about 60% in a single day, and I still had the conviction. No, you can't call somebody lucky that, because the only people who have the balls to hold all through that is the people who educated themselves to understand what they hold.
That's right. Amen.
Well said, man. I could go so many directions there, but you're so right. Like, and we hear that often. Like, it's not necessarily having brains; it's the balls. Really, it's just having the conviction and sticking around.